Thank you so much for joining in, especially on a Sunday morning. I appreciate each one of you being here today, and I'll be the host for today. My name is Ocean Gupta. I am a psychologist at MindTribe Healthcare, and I've been a practicing psychologist since a year now, and I've been working under Dr. Prerna Kohli since a few months, and she's the founder of our company, MindTribe Healthcare, and is a clinical psychologist. If I talk about my qualifications, I hold a degree of Masters of Arts in Clinical Psychology. And if I talk about my client issue specialty areas, that would be the clients who face issues with self esteem, lack of motivation, emotional dysregulation, stress management issues, overthinking, etc. So, Iris ma'am would be the co host for today's workshop, and I'll be asking her to introduce herself in brief, and she'll be taking all of you through some ground rules that all of you all are expected to follow throughout the workshop. Iris, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hello. Hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining in on a Sunday afternoon. My name is Iris Topo and I work as a counseling psychologist here at MindTribe, and I have a very eclectic approach in therapy, and I prioritize my clients during the sessions, and I have some experience in the areas of anxiety, depression, body image and relationship issues. And these are some of the ground rules that I want to make you aware of. So first and foremost, you need to keep your mics off. You may use the parking lot here being basically the chat box for any queries, or simply you may use the hand raise button. No screenshots or recordings are allowed, as it is intellectual property of MindTribe. Um, But please be informed an official recording is taking place, and I assure you, only the PPT and the audio are in the recording. Your names and the chat box content are excluded from the recording. Now, very important, please be respectful of the host and your fellow participants during this session. And be the crew, not the passengers. So basically, you need to be an active participant in this journey in order to take away the most possible. So I wish you a very fruitful journey ahead in this workshop. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much for that, Iris. And I, as a host today, I will give my best to provide you all with all the suggestions and all the resources I have as a therapist. So stay tuned, stay active throughout the workshop. Now, let's quickly take a glance at what we'll be discussing today. First, we'll be discussing some signs of feeling lost. Then, it is important to understand when and how does it start to feel so wrong. After that, we'll be discussing how the rediscovery phase looks like, how it feels like, right? Then we'll be taking a look at the two important values or virtues, I would say. Very important. They start from C. So, cultivating the two C's. Then we'll be looking at the plan ahead. In that, we'll be looking at some tips for how to take confident steps ahead while simultaneously going through what may be acting as obstacles in your way to find yourself, right? Like overcoming the need to seek validation, how to follow your curiosity, ABCs of getting curious and knowing about oneself, distancing from the comparison mindset, right? And tips to stay purposeful in our routines. Those are some things that we'll be looking at in the plan ahead. In plan in action, we will discuss briefly a strategy to set achievable goals. And lastly, I'll be sharing some resources that you can take with yourself after the workshop to help you sustain in this process of rediscovery. In the middle of all this content, we will engage in some fun activities like value card sorting and emotional ease exercise, especially for those who mark their reasons for feeling lost as being struggling emotionally. In one of the polls we had shared on the group a day back. So, especially for those people, I've added this exercise. I hope you all are looking forward to it. And we have very less time in our hands. So, let's quickly begin. I request everyone to kindly put their queries in the chat box and ask them only when we open the panel for discussion. I'll make sure that no queries go unattended. Either me or Iris ma'am, we'll take up your questions. Um, and try not to disturb the flow of the contents to be covered. I request everyone, this is a very humble request. um, and because many people are looking forward to different topics today and we don't want to keep them waiting. Okay, so here's a quick question from my end to you guys. Let's take two responses on mic for this, whoever wants to. And I need to know what kind of audience I'm addressing today. So, would anyone like to tell what you're good at doing? Anything. It may be an interest in cooking or painting or music. Would any two people like to speak on this? You can
I'm
raise your hands.
good
All
at
right.
cooking.
Would you like? Okay. Sumit, would you like to tell us how did you get good at cooking?
Uh, My mother used to cook when I'm at my childhood, and from
Mm-hmm.
that I started to cook little bit and take help from my mother, and now I can cook anything.
That's really nice. That's amazing. And how does cooking make you feel?
I mean, it make me happy. There's a lot of variedness, but when I do cooking, it gave me a pleasure that I'm doing something great, something that no one is doing.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. Would anybody else like to share their interests or hobbies? Yes, Kavya, please go ahead.
I have recently started to notice that I'm really good at holding conversations. I
Mm-hmm.
used to be an introvert, but like from past 1.5 year, I've been really good at holding conversations.
Wow, that's a very great strength to have, I would say. And how did you get good at doing be at conversing people?
It was because of my diploma in psychological counseling skills. I do have background in psychology, so I think it's
Mhm.
because of this psychology stream.
That's really nice. It's so good to hear both of you. Anybody else who would like to share, you can add your responses in the chat box. You can share with the group. It truly feels liberating. Try doing that, and then let's move ahead. Uh, okay, so there's another question for all of you. How much would you rate yourself on this scale where zero means um, life is pointless, it's not worth living, it's meaningless, to 10 that my life is full of vitality and full of fulfillment? You can type your responses in the chat box. How much would you rate yourself? There's four, threes, two. Mm-hmm. Okay. Ritika feels eight. Okay. That's nice. Okay. Lots of varied responses, right? Um, so for all those who have scored themselves below five, I would like to say something to them through the means of this quote. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself. I understand that all we are looking for in life is to make our lives more certain, right? More stable. Let me tell all of you that if you're on this path where you feel you've hit the rock bottom and You simply don't know where and how to proceed in life further. This is your perfect opportunity to personal growth and development. And had this not happened to you, whatever situation that you're in, you wouldn't push yourself so hard to explore yourself and know yourself completely. So try embracing this journey. Despite what the circumstances today in our lives, let's try beginning with a positive mindset, um, and see what we can find in today's workshop helpful for ourselves. Let's discuss some signs of feeling lost. The first one is constant anxiety. Anxiety, it's a very common term all of us use very casually these days. A sense of uneasiness and fear about an anticipated situation is what anxiety is, if I talk in clinical terms, right? Um, what if I'm not able to ever gain that financial stability? Beginning to think of the worst possible scenarios that happen, right? This keeps happening to us. We've all experienced anxiety as an emotion one way or another, but one distinction and one clarification I would like to make here as a psychologist would be that there is a difference between anxiety and an anxiety disorder, right? So if you're somebody who's been experiencing signs of anxiety due to some stress, right, it does not mean that you have an anxiety disorder. So, in such cases, it's best to consult experts in the field like psychologists, and even better if you can consult a clinical psychologist if you hold any doubts regarding your mental health. Okay, no need to jump to any conclusions if we are not simply aware of the signs. The next sign would be confusion or indecisiveness. I'm just not being able to prove my abilities in this current life scenario. Should I change my life path altogether and let go of my past goals and dreams? All of these questions keep popping up. There's lack of motivation. Sometimes, when we're extremely stressed and when we're caught up in this cycle of negative emotions, um, it becomes very hard for us to concentrate on other important aspects of our lives, making us feel very less motivated to do anything. Here is an example I often give my clients. Imagine yourself holding a big jug of water for 2 hours straight with your arms sticking out, right? And ask yourself, will your arms be able to do anything after you put that jug down after 2 hours? Will you be able to write down that assignment that you have to finish? That's exactly what our negative emotions do to us, paralyzing us from doing anything that's important, right? Then we have emotional ups and downs. One moment feeling like crying and frustrated, other moments feeling like giving up on everything and just giving in into the simple pleasures of life, right? It's all right to feel different emotions and even contradictory emotions at the same time. In such times, it's very important to remind ourselves that life is not always black and white. There may be gray areas here and there coming up always. So it's okay to exist in different emotions. Then the next sign is self esteem. Again, a very common sign when we are unsure about where we are heading. There are self limiting, uh, uh, rather self sabotaging, I would say, many self limiting thoughts. But all of them boiling down to one single thing, making us grow distant from what we truly want and desire from life. Now, besides the listed points here, there surely are plenty other subjective, difficult emotions that you all may be going through. Like another one, if I were to mention in my subjective experience, would be impatience. But while processing this emotion, it is important that we remind ourselves that everything takes time. Remember that nature does not hurry, yet everything it wants to accomplish gets accomplished. So we have to try to be in the same spirits as nature. Where does it all begin? Now, this phase of feeling lost is the beginning of the inconsistency and an imbalance between who we truly are at present, that is the real self, and who we want to become or strive to become, that is our ideal self. These concepts were given by a psychologist named Carl Rogers, who believed that the more our real self is closer to our ideal self, the quicker we move towards self actualization. Now, what is self actualization? In very simple words, it means becoming fulfilled and living up to our potentials. It is by bringing balance to these two selves is how we can develop a healthy self image of ourselves in our own eyes first and then the rest of the world. Now, another experience that sort of precedes the feelings of losing oneself is of the frustration or the disappointment that we feel when we're unable to meet our goals, right? This concept is called goal disillusionment. So, how does goal disillusionment happen? Setting unrealistic expectations from yourself could be stemming from many reasons like perfectionism. I just have to be perfect at this job. Lack of self awareness can also stem from other people's ideas of how they view successes and feeling that pressure to live up to their ideologies, right? Another situation that predisposes a person to lose control over their lives is when our values are not aligned with the goals. See, our values act as our compasses for making choices and decisions in every day without giving it much thought. Uh, but since there are different value systems, some adopted by us, some we learn from the significant others in our surroundings, right? Some from our parents, our friends. Our mind gets cluttered and it's often unable to recognize which values to prioritize and live by, making it hard to align our long term goals with these values that truly matter to us personally, right? In a matter of time, we'll be doing a small exercise on understanding our values better in terms of our relationships. So I hope that can be helpful for all of us. Now, there is one important point I must mention for those who need to hear this. Uh, don't turn your values into rigid rules that you must obey as commandments. It's best to keep them as flexible guides, right? To simply keep this compass in our backpacks rather than clutching onto it tightly when we're setting on this journey. Lastly, sometimes unexpected events also happen in our lives that they make us derail from our goals, right? Okay. Anybody switch their mic on? I would request you to kindly keep it off. Kavya, could you switch off your mic? Thank you. Okay, let's move on to the value sorting exercise that we have. Okay, so with me, everyone so far, you all can give me thumbs up. All right, perfect. Okay, so try narrowing your focus to one of the roles you most frequently play in your daily life, either as a partner, a friend, co-worker, child, parent, anything. Pick anything that you want to pick. Okay. Now I would request all of you to look at all these values and adjectives that are appearing on the screen and choose any three words uh, that you would like to choose to describe yourself when you feel the best in this role. You can also focus on which ones you would like to have in you. Okay, if you don't know right now, what do you aspire to become, right? You can type in your responses in the chat box. Once you're done choosing, okay, Anayega says intelligent, confident, and balanced. Those are some nice adjectives. Okay. Alifa says she wants to be ambitious, authentic, and balanced. Everyone, keep typing, keep sharing with the group. We'd love to hear what all you are choosing for yourself. Purnima says motivated, resilient, and engaging. That's nice. While all of you all type your responses here, let me take question from Prakash. Prakash, please go on. Prakash, you can unmute yourself and ask whatever you feel like. All right. Akshay wants to be mindful, calm, and fair. Ritika wants to be understanding, authentic, and balanced. I hope that this exercise made us realize what truly matters to us in terms of our values, right? Now, note them down somewhere. And after this workshop, you may try doing this for other important roles in your life, right? Um, to have a clarity over what are the guiding patterns, what are the guiding systems for you. Okay. Now, what it feels like to find yourself. Quickly running through this slide, um, since we have very less time in our hands. After we are able to find ourselves, just imagine you will be able to define your relationships in whatever you at your terms, right? In the terms that you deserve. Then you will be able to regain the respect and strength, the lost sense of respect that we are currently facing, right? You'll be able to regain that. There will be a sense of purpose in our lives. We'll be able to balance and manage our emotions better. There will be more resilience and adaptability to face further challenges, right? We'll be more equipped with resources um, in terms of our strength and resilience to face any challenge that comes along our way. Then we'll also be able to feel complete and whole within ourselves, right now maybe some of you all are feeling that I'm incomplete, I need something in my life, I need somebody, I need them to be there always. But after we are able to find ourselves, that's when the feelings of completeness and wholeness kick in, right? And they make us feel very happy and full of life again. Now, cultivating the two C's. Um, so these are two very important values that I would encourage everyone to start inculcating in them this moment onwards. Uh, Developing a courageous mindset. Okay, um, where there is dare instead of fear of being stuck, of losing control, of uncertainty. All of these fears exist in us, right? So, to come out of this stuck situation, it is imperative that we come out of our comfort zones and see what opportunities lie as blind spots in our immediate now. There may be plenty of opportunities in our environment currently, but we are just not being able to see them. Secondly, moving ahead with a sense of curiosity, putting on that detective hat and finding out what truly drives us and matters to us. Um, there is a small a slide on how to follow your curiosity, right? Let's take a look at that now. These are some tips on how we can build our curiosity to know what truly matters to us. The first one is expose yourself to new perspectives. What do I exactly mean from this? Speaking to people with common interests and passions, speaking to experts in the field can help you open your eyes to the new world that awaits, right? For someone who is looking for maybe choosing new career paths, go to the websites of top universities worldwide, check out what different courses they are offering, that you may be interested in, or simply see what their research teams are doing. For some, reading newspapers might help, looking for sections dedicated to your areas of interest, right? Combine your interests. So, what I essentially mean to convey from this point is combining different options that you may be skilled at or are simply interested in. Like, personally, for me, if I were to speak for myself, something that I currently wish to explore is the area of music therapy. Since I believe to have gained speciality in both these areas of music as well as psychology. So, something like this, all of you all can also try. Just combine your different interests and something unique, completely unique would come out of it. Okay. Experiment and play. Do you all know how we as kids developed our interests and passions? It was by naturally experimenting with our environment through trial and error. That's what kids do. They take on small challenges like maybe riding a bike or solving puzzles. That builds confidence and resilience, right? And the feedback and recognition they receive after they are done doing these challenges, that is what helps them shape the perception of their self, right? So this is something that we should learn from kids as adults. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness, what is mindfulness? It is simply staying in the present and allowing your thoughts and emotions to flow without judging them. It is also about knowing your purpose, living with intention and clarity. This will help foster self awareness in you, uh, which will further create an openness in you to view the new possibilities that the life have to offer, right? Now, creating the plan ahead. Let's delve deeper into the possible steps we can take to find ourselves. Uh, Take a mental review of your life. Look at each phase, as a child, an adolescent, in your early adulthood. Let go of all the limiting beliefs by reminding yourself how you have endured and persisted through difficult times of each phase of life with such grace and in your best capacity. Right? There are some prompt suggestions for all of you. Um, for those of you who don't know what journaling is, it is the simplest way to gain some self awareness by the means of just a paper and a pen. Right? I encourage each one of you present here to reflect upon these questions on the screen to have more clarity in your current life. You can do it after the workshop. I'll just wait for a minute or so you all can just note down all of these points somewhere, and then you can use them later after the workshop. Right. I hope everyone has noted the points down. So the second step is to change the routine. How many of us here feel stuck in the routine we've been following lately? Just show me thumbs ups. Yeah, many of us. Right. So, what do routines do? Routines actually just bring predictability and stability to our lives, right? But sometimes routines can become very rigid and monotonous, and they like leaving us with no room for exploration or acting according to the bigger picture that we have imagined for ourselves, right? So, how to move with a purpose? Moving with a sense of purpose. Here are some tips. Tip number one would be to take reflective pauses whenever you see yourself giving in on the momentary pleasures in your routine. Gently ask yourself, am I spending my energy on the things that truly matter to me? Then, tip number two would be to set your weekly theme for specific days. Like Mondays can be career growth days, Wednesdays can be for learning something new, Sundays can be for self care, right? Then, tip number three would be reserve 15 to 30 minutes daily to do something that genuinely recharges you as a person and excites you, like listening to podcasts on YouTube or taking a walk in nature, taking a warm shower with the best smelling shower gels, anything, right? So it's important that we take joy breaks as well in our routines so that we're able to stick to what truly matters to us in the rest of the time we have for in our day, right? Then creating a feedback loop. Just give me a moment, please. Yes. So we were talking about creating a feedback loop, taking feedback from people who genuinely care on the daily progresses we are making towards our goals and self development. It's a very important step. In fact, I would say the most important one. Um, for those who need to hear this, sometimes the people that truly matter, they may not be able to respond to us and our needs in the best words possible, towards the situation that we're facing, but that does not mean they don't care enough about us, right? If that is what your first instinct says about them, of course, right? Overcoming seeking external validation. So, however, there is a very thin line between seeking feedback and external validation. Sometimes we are simply wanting others' feedback because we see ourselves as not independent enough to be making correct choices for ourselves. So it's important to draw that boundary of seeking the feedback and seeking external validation, right? All of us know which one is the healthier option. We feel this need to seek external validation, maybe because others may seem intimidating or superior to us in some aspect. So, what do we do to overcome this? Shift your focus, focusing on your personal growth without wanting others' approval that you're on the right track. It's very important. You know what your goals are, you know what you want to achieve and accomplish, right? Now ask yourself, do the people I'm seeking the approval from may know the best about the process of achieving these goals? Are they experts in the goal I'm aiming for? If not, then you have your answer. Then strengthen self validation by replacing these thoughts like I need their approval to I trust my own judgment. I am enough. My opinion matters. And make a list of strengths that are unique to you. Identify what sets you apart in your relationships. What makes you different from this person that you're seeking external validation from in a good way? Oftentimes what happens is because of this assumption that the other person is superior to us, um, we subconsciously start giving them the power to validate us on everything, and that is when we start developing a dependency on them. There is a suspension of our identities, right? It happens to a lot of us. So especially in such kinds of relationships, be more vocal about and direct about your preferences and needs. Okay. Now there is a small ad break, so I can sip on some water, and you all can also take a break. This ad is about our company, so please stay tuned. Hey everyone. Just like those moments on YouTube when a quick ad pops up, we have a short ad break for you. Don't worry, this will be quick and super beneficial for you. Stay tuned. Alright, let's dive in. So, what exactly is one on one counseling? It's a personalized, confidential chat between you and a trained therapist. Imagine having someone who really listens, understands you, and helps you figure things out. The benefits: personal growth, solving problems, setting goals, and boosting your mental well being. It's like having a personal coach for your mind. Now, let's bust a big myth. Many think counseling is only for those who are unwell. Nope, that's not true. Counseling is for anyone wanting to be their best self. Want better relationships? More friends? A spot in your dream college or job? Counseling can help with all of that. It's about making the best version of you. So, why MindTribe? First off, our counselors are super talented. Plus, we're super affordable, with sessions ranging from just rupees 500 to 5000. And guess what? Your first session is absolutely free. Once you're comfortable, you can choose from our affordable packages. Empowering minds, transforming lives. That's what we do at MindTribe. Thank you, all of you, for listening to this. If you all have any questions about the counseling we provide, now is the time. You can go ahead, raise your hands, and ask us questions on this. Okay, if you have any questions that you would want to put on chat box, you can do that as well, and then we attend to them later. Okay, let's move on to the further slides for now. Also, this is my personal profile. So, if you all are seeking counseling and feel like I may be the right counselor for you, you can go ahead and visit this link. And me and Iris ma'am, both of us will be sharing our personal profiles after the workshop as well. So, you can just go ahead and visit those profiles after the workshop. Moving on, adopting the pendulum lifestyle would be our fourth step. Here again, I would like to quote the lines by Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu is actually a Chinese philosopher, and I had mentioned one of the quotes earlier in the presentation. Um, Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. So, adopting a pendulum lifestyle would mean that instead of constantly forcing and striving to achieve balance in life, we move ahead with a sense of compassion towards ourselves and acknowledge the natural highs and lows of life, right? They are always going to be there. There's something that's this is something that's constant. Highs and lows are a part of life. And I believe that compassion should be practiced with each breath you take. It is that essential for our path to self growth. Compassion over comparison. First of all, if certain people in your life constantly make you feel inadequate in some way or other, set boundaries with them. Find how you can emotionally and physically distance yourself from them. Secondly, if you feel that the comparison is coming from your own insecurities, it may be coming from your own insecurities, then try identifying what about the person inspires you by asking yourself, what is this comparison teaching me about what I truly want? And then explore healthier ways to actually work on yourself, right? Then, if you accomplish something even small today, very small, treat yourself for accomplishing it. Just pamper yourself with buying a chocolate or share with a friend, or social media. Actually, sharing makes whatever you're working on more integrated into your personality. When you share, it gets more integrated within you. Okay, this will create a habit in you to focus on what you uh, do well, rather than the seeking external um, validation, or just comparing yourself with others. Lastly, you could try writing down 3 things you're grateful for immediately after each time you compare yourself with others. Trade gratitude for comparison. Try this activity out whenever you find yourself comparing yourself. Okay. Then reuniting with old friends, talents, and interests. Talents. Speaking of talents, holding on to your talents, I think, is very important in this journey of self discovery. Your talents, they give you a strong sense of confidence and identity when everything else is falling apart and everything else feels very uncertain. They also give you an opportunity to make new connections and perspectives. If you don't feel like pursuing your talents, just try finding an activity that you temporarily want to pursue and that you just temporarily want to keep yourself occupied with. Anything. Okay. It may be signing up for that course you always wanted to check out, or maybe that new dress you wanted to buy that you saw at the shopping center, and it gave you that sense of newness within you, right? Just go ahead and do that. Then keeping in touch with your old friends, or even making some new connections, can make us aware of where we stand in life and what we truly want. Focus on the present and plan for the future. It's important for us to remember that what we have in our present, what we have in our hands today, what we have in our control, is only our values and actions, right? And it's our responsibility to be aligning these values to the actions that we're taking. Okay, that's all our job. Um, and it's important to remember that we keep planning for the future. Our goals lie in the future, and their outcome is not something that's in our hands, right? Okay. Before we move ahead, I want any one person to quickly switch their mic on if they know the correct answer to the question that I'm going to ask. What do you do when someone doesn't listen to you? When you call out their name, no matter how loud you do, um, and it's very extremely important for you to deliver this message to them. Would anybody like to answer? You can raise your hand. All right, I assume nobody has the answer to this question. Okay, so what we typically do is, when nobody listens to us when we're calling their name out, we try to tap on them, don't we? I think all of us do that, right? So, um, yeah, it's very important that whenever our mind is not ready to listen to us, and when our mind goes out of control and there is a sudden imbalance in these emotions that we're having, then we do the same thing to ourselves, right? We tap on different body parts. So this is something that I wanted to mention before I present the next slide, which is on emotional tapping. So this is a technique that I wanted to share with all of you, so that whoever is facing struggles with dealing with their emotions, they can simply practice this technique. It's called it's actually an emotional freedom technique. I've mentioned a different name for it on this slide to make it more creative. So I'll now be playing that video, and I request everyone present here to follow what the man does to learn this technique more effectively.
I choose to feel whole and complete. I choose to feel whole and complete. I choose to feel that I'm lacking nothing. Certainly nothing that I need. Because the fact that I'm here right now is pretty good evidence that I have at least what I need. And it's perfectly fine that there are things that I want, because it's an abundant world. Nothing wrong with wanting to enjoy more of it. And I'm probably capable of a lot more than I'm doing. And it's wonderful that I want to be more of who I can be. But this feeling that I'm lacking, this feeling that I'm not good enough, and that my circumstances aren't good enough, leads to an uncomfortable feeling that not only limits my happiness, it limits my energy, it limits my effectiveness. So if I want more, it helps to know that there's more inside. It helps to know that I am whole and complete, lacking nothing. So that every other good thing I allow into my life is an addition. I don't need it to complete me. It's a wonderful addition. A joyful enhancement. And I'm making that happen. And in the meantime, I choose to love myself right where I'm at, knowing that I am whole and complete.
All right. Would anybody like to share how they're feeling after practicing this exercise? You can type in the chat box, no need to switch your mics on. All right, it's completely okay if you're not comfortable sharing. Just sit through the feeling. Okay, Rajitha says it was pleasant for you. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, Bidisha, you want to know when the meeting ends? Is that what you're asking?
No,
Okay, what is
the
it?
Uh,
Yeah, please.
Ma'am, hello, I'm Vidisha. I wanted to ask, as the guy mentioned, I am whole and complete. What is the
Mhm.
meaning of being complete? Because I feel like that I lack in certain things, and I don't feel that I am complete. Like, I'm not happy at sometimes, and I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that, I don't know how to cook, I don't know how to do this and that, and I feel like I
Mm.
still lack in those parts. Okay, and that's a basic need. And I feel always this anxiety, frustration. I need to learn how to cook and all, because I'm 21. So how should I feel complete?
Okay. Vidisha, very good question. Um, if I may ask you, since when have you been feeling that you lack in something?
Long time, like when I was 18 years old. Since that, I keep on thinking that I lack on something or the other, not good enough. Yeah, and not
Hmm.
complete. Yeah, I've always heard people saying in Instagram and all that. Always feel that I am whole, I am complete, I love myself, but I don't understand this. I don't know how to feel complete.
Hmm. Um, Vidisha, if I may ask you, do you often engage in this thought that I want to be perfect in whatever I do and I just want to know everything about life and I want to be good at everything?
Yeah, perfect. Yes,
Yes, so Vidisha, this is an unrealistic expectation from yourself. Do you agree with me?
yes.
Yes, Vidisha. So it's important that we try overcoming this thought of yours. Okay, this is
Okay,
since this is a workshop. I'm sorry that I'll be unable to resolve this completely. Right?
okay,
We can book a one-on-one session for this if you really want to overcome this.
okay, okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right, Vidisha.
Okay,
Thank you for sharing that with us. It was a very courageous step on your part to be
okay,
sharing.
okay. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Since we have very less time left, let's move on to our last part of today's presentation. It's on action planning. So there's a strategy called SMART goals. I think most of us would know about this. It's widely popular. Um, to set achievable goals, right? It's a very effective strategy. So going through the acronym one by one, first is to first step is to make our goals specific, right? Clear and detailed. Instead of my goal is to find my passion. Say you have set your goal on this. Okay, I want to find my passion. Focus on identifying three hobbies that excite you, right? Narrow down your goals and then work on this narrow path that you've created for yourself each day. Then we have to learn on making our goals measurable. This is about quantifying our progress that we're making each day. Say that let me assign about 20 minutes every day to find what interests me, right? Then we can also make the goal achievable. The goal should be set, every goal that we decide upon, they should be set realistically. That right? To answer your question, Vidisha, every goal that we're choosing for ourselves must be set realistically and according to your correct evaluation of your abilities. Okay. uh, Check if your long term goals are achievable, in this sense, like if they're rooted in reality. Then relevant, the goal should align with your overall purpose or need. In the example that we've been discussing, maybe our true underlying need is to earn people's praise, right? And maybe someone wants to be popular. So ask yourself, are goals fulfilling what you truly need in life? Make them more relevant to your purposes and needs. Time bound. Lastly, set a deadline to achieve this goal, to stay on toes with it. Okay. For example, I give myself 2 weeks to learn about any one passion I want to pursue. So these were the strategies for setting your goals ahead. And here's a question for all of you. What's one specific goal you would like to set for yourself this week? You can type your responses in the chat box. Um, See, if you type in your responses here, it's sort of a public commitment that you're making. And that will help you actually stick to whatever specific goal that you're mentioning here. So try sharing it. You know, nobody truly knows you here. So try doing that. Okay, Rajita wants to explore city during weekends. That's nice. That's really nice. Rajita, would you like to unmute and tell which city you want to explore? All right, no problem. Sorry if I put you on spot like that. Okay, thank you for sharing that. One second. Has anybody raised their hand? No. Okay, so many responses. We have Ritika. She wants my practical exam to go well, and I just wanna balance my relationship to be fixed. I just want to be patient and to be balancing my relationships with patience and calm, I think. Okay, nice. I got selected for a job interview. You want to be chosen for a job interview. Okay, I hope you get the job interview. Sumit wants to complete a book named Rue by Manav Kaul. That's amazing, Sumit. Really nice. And I appreciate all of you to be sharing these responses. Okay, lastly, I just have these takeaway tools, some resources for you all. You can just note them down somewhere. And yeah, I think some of these are from my personal experience, from my personal journey. So may not relate with all of you, but just to give you all a rough idea, you all can start exploring some books on self discovery or movies. There are plenty movies, um, right? You can go and check out some songs and podcasts, right? We also have a guided meditation on YouTube from MindTribe on how to build a healthy self concept. You can go ahead and check that. So these were some takeaway tools. And lastly, ending with a quote: there is more to you than there already is, right? So just believe in yourself and you're halfway there. Simply start believing in yourselves. Okay. So that was all from my end. Now we can take any questions and queries if you have about this today's workshop, today's subject, or about counseling, anything that you would like to ask me or Iris ma'am. Yes, Disha, please go on.
Ma'am, will the certificates of this will be provided or not?
Yes, Disha, we'll be communicating about the certificates over the WhatsApp group itself. So you can just keep yourself updated on that.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Oh, yes, sure, Angeline. I'll show you that slide. And while I do that, does anybody else have the question? Tisha, you can stop raising your hand. Thank you. Does anybody else have any question or any feedback? There you go. Okay, we'll wait for. Okay, before this, 1 second. We'll wait for 2 more minutes and see if anybody has any questions. Angeline, is this the slide that you wanted me? Okay, perfect. Tony, I would suggest that we book a session, if that's okay by you, to deal with this loss of self identity, right? I understand it's very hard to deal with narcissistic people, and I'm sure in a one-on-one session I'll be able to understand the whole situation better, and understanding the roots of where you may be coming from. That way I'll be able to guide you better. Okay. And Angeline, thank you for the feedback.